move Amendment 129. This amendment arose as another attempt to deal with the problem caused by ACS LAW and others in their harassment of people with allegations that they have downloaded copyright material. This provision mirrors provisions which are already present in respect of patent law and trademark law. So this is a pattern already well established in similar areas of law, but which is absent in copyright law. Invalid assertions of copyright are actually quite common. There is things we have provided in copyright a definite life. The works of Shakespeare are out of copyright, but you will quite often find modern versions of Shakespeare that assert copyright on the flyleaf. There is quite widespread assertion of copyright by museums and others who allow images to be published of articles in their collection which were made tens of thousands of years ago sometimes, but certainly in the case of many works of the great masters are certainly well out of copyright. My lords, these may well be protected by contractual rights, but they are not protected by copyright. So this particular approach to dealing with ACS law would have wider implications, but ones that, to my mind, are justified. They have been proved justified and sensible and proportionate provisions, as I say, in the matter of patents and trademarks. It seems to me high time that we introduce this in copyright too. But it would have the particular benefit of providing, and doubtless the Minister has received as many emails and letters as I have concerning the activities of this particular firm, providing a defence against law firms who just repeat endless allegations and threats, no intention at all, as far as I can see, of actually taking it to court, but to give their victims some means of biting back. And it doesn't, it only takes 1 in 100 victims to bite back and bring a successful court case to bring this practice to an end. And I really think that the ministers have expressed their revulsion for this practice and have fulminated about it. They have come nowhere near proposing a remedy. So I hope this might find, in one version or another, their approval. I beg to move.
Amendment proposed after Clause 8, insert the new clause printed on the marshalled list.
My Lords, I would like to support this amendment. Now, my Lords, whether or not this particular amendment stands up legally, my Lords, I think it's an extremely good peg on which to hang a short debate about the activities of this particular operation ACS law. My Lords, like many noble lords, I've had an enormous postbag about the activities of this law firm, and quite frankly, my Lords, it's easy to say the activities of certain law firms, but my Lords, this is the only one that I've been written about. I mean, that's the interesting aspect of it, my Lords. This particular firm, ACS, seems to specialise in picking up bogus copyright claims and then harassing innocent householders and demanding £500 or £650, whatever, a round sum in any event in order to settle. And my Lords, some of the letters, people have been fighting off the claims of this law firm for several years. One letter says, a close friend of mine has been the target of regular bullying by ACS law since September 2007 for alleged illegal file sharing, and currently has no means by which to prove his innocence, and so on, my Lords. I could go through a whole series of letters, somebody who's written 8 letters to protest their innocence and answer the questions, but the case has still yet to be dropped. And, my Lords, somebody who's been asked how old their daughter is and what games console she has, and so on and so forth, and they only have a Nintendo DS. And, my Lords, the amount of intrusion, and if somebody has a claim, they need to issue a summons and they need to go to court, and so on. This kind of bullying, which never results in an actual court action which can be tested, my lords, is the worst kind of harassment. And this is only too common, my lords. And even though the government may not favour this particular way of dealing with it, my lords, I do hope that in some creative way, whether it's by direction or by ministerial statement or some mechanism, they can deter bodies such as ACS Law from engaging in this kind of activity. My lords, sadly, I don't know quite how they get hold of these claims. I think we understand that they get hold of it by a particular procedure. I think it's the Norwich Pharmacal procedure, by which they get hold of information about these claims, and then they proceed to prosecute them, my lords. But I must admit, I am somewhat hazy about how these cases, which are against innocent people, people would not take the trouble to write these kinds of letters unless they felt really angry and that these cases were wholly unjustified, my lord. So I do commend the noble Lord Lucas, who I know is extremely cognizant of these claims, the activities of this particular firm, and I hope the Minister will have something to say on the subject.